Hey guys, how's it going? Muthurajah here, back with a new video lesson for you all. In today's lesson, I want to take a look at walking bass lines, particularly tension and release. If you haven't already watched my previous lessons on walking bass lines, you can check them out right here. So it can give you an idea as to what we have covered so far at the very least. Okay, now before I move on, the primary function of a bass player when it comes to walking bass lines is time and then harmony, okay? But that doesn't mean you just play whatever notes or constantly play arpeggios all the time, especially when things are at a certain speed and the chords are more spaced out. You got to think a little bit more about your note choices, okay? So I want to look at tension and release. Typically, we try our best to land on chord tones on downbeats. So if I'm playing something like Cherokee, we are trying our best to land on the root notes of the chord. Nothing wrong there. But tension and release is a very simple way to kind of deviate your ideas from just landing on the root all the time. Okay? So what it basically means is if I have a B flat major 7, okay, that's a B flat major 7 and a 6 there with the G. I don't resolve on the B flat on beat 1 for the next bar. I would resolve on the C and then release it for resolution on beat 3. So what this does is it gives a very prolonged effect to the actual harmony, the way it's being laid out. Okay, and you'll notice I'm not doing it all the time. I did it there towards the tail end of the A section. It might be a little hard to hear without any accompaniment, but the idea is you hit a non-chord tone, usually your 9 or a 6. You could hit the 11 as well, but it's a little awkward, so you can do a sharp 11. So if I have B flat major, I can play E as an emphasis. Something like that. So E, C, F. So F is a chord tone. And I'm back on to E flat major 7. Right? So that is one way to try it. You just take an extension of the chord, you resolve there, and then resolve to either the root note or any other chord tone available. Usually you are never too far from a chord tone, because in a key, if you have a seventh chord, it's 4 notes, and you have 3 other notes which become your 9, 11, and 13 in relevance. So you're never too far. Okay? The next tension and release I want to talk about is actually rhythm. Okay? So I posted a video recently talking about the blues and how we need to emphasize quarter notes, right? And none of the, not the 2 and 4 accent. But I can kind of use those accents to create this rhythmic tension. Pair that up with melodic tension. So you can group them up in 3 notes, these accents. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, when you do that, you start to create this rhythmic and harmonic overlap. And what starts to happen is that it really creates this intense moment. And especially if you have a cat who can really blow, this is a great device to use. Obviously, keep your ears open, listen. If whoever is playing on top is not heading in that direction, stay away from it. But generally, this is one way to just break out of your generic stuff, okay? Rhythmic and melodic tension. Now, another thing is actual pedal points, which is also a form of tension and release. So, typically we play pedal points on the beats 2 and 4. So I did that very briefly in the B section. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 2-5 in B major, pedal on F sharp, 2-5 in A major, pedal on E. Okay? Instead of always playing it on 2 and 4, you can use this opportunity again to create a rhythmic overlap. And if you've got the right drummer, he's going to go with you. So one nice rhythm to use would be, if this is my quarter note, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, pa, 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 da, da, da. Okay, it creates this very long, prolonged phrase to the pedal point instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Instead of that, you'll have 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. And then when you release it, it actually feels like a proper tension and release and not some awkward moment where you are not too sure what you're going to do, right? So a lot of times it's about, this is going to sound silly, but you want to sound like you know what you're doing, needless to say. So take various kinds of rhythmic groupings. This is groupings of 3. That pedal point, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now your immediate question will be, yeah, but how do I keep track of where I am in time? Write it out. If you have 4 quarter notes a bar, and if I play every 3 quarter notes, so I'll play on 1, 4, 2, and then I'm back on 1 again. So it creates this very interesting vibe to the whole rhythm section. And like I said, anybody blowing on top of it will have a blast, because for a second, the pulse is still there, but it's kind of taking the back seat, but you're creating this intensity. Okay? So, needless to say, with melodic and rhythmic tension, dynamics play a huge part. You can't overly emphasize tension tones. You can't overly emphasize these rhythmic tension and release ideas, because it can start to kind of cripple the time feel overall at times. So you kind of want to place it tastefully, do it for a practice purpose, do it every 8 bars, at the 7th and 8th bar, for instance, or the 3rd and 4th. Put it for the tail end of a phrase. Don't just throw it in the middle just because you can and you know how to do it. Okay, I hope you get something out of this, and be safe, stay hydrated, wash your hands, and I'll see you guys in the shed until the next one. Peace.